Hello YouTube, Jeff Steele here with Steel Navigator. This is your part 7 update of the ammo and firearm shortages in year 2020. We're going to go over a few comments, talk about some different things. But first, just wanted to mention, over the weekend I saw the movie The Highwayman with Kevin Costner and Woody Harrelson. It's about the Bonnie and Clyde story. It's a true story. I'm sure there's some aspects of the film that may not be accurate, but for the most part it's about a true story of Bonnie and Clyde. Basically, the authorities that are employed are having a hard time catching them. The governor of the state of Texas reaches out to 2 retired Texas Rangers to chase down and apprehend Bonnie and Clyde. Kevin Costner being the primary, and he reaches out to Woody Harrelson to help him out in this endeavor. They pretty much have a situation where they have full authority, especially in the state of Texas. They have the majority of their, if not all of their expenses covered. The FBI at the time, they're involved in the manhunt for Bonnie and Clyde with their modern day scientific methods. But the story, it ends up being the old timers, the old retired Texas Rangers that end up ambushing and solving the issue of Bonnie and Clyde with their old school methods. But there's one part of the movie where he goes into a gun store. He has a list written out. It's an old school store. They just have all the firearms hanging on the walls. And he's just going down the list, reading off what he wants, and the clerks in the store are slowly placing all of the items on the glass countertop. He gets a few 30-30 Winchesters, gets a few Winchester automatic rifles, gets a big Browning BAR automatic rifle, the military style chambered in 30-06, full auto by the way, several 1911s, couple single action pistols. So he probably has 20 pieces that the clerks have laid out on the counter, and says that I'm going to need 1,000 rounds of this, 5,000 rounds of this. They all place everything on the counter, and they ask him, they say, well, which it'll be? And he says, all of it. That's all he says, all of it. So I was just thinking how nice that would be to be able to go in a store today and just say all of it. Put it all on the counter, ring it up. In the movie, that they didn't do any background checks. They probably didn't during that time, so he pays his money, they help him load up his car, and he's on his way. They ask him what it was for. He didn't even respond. They just took the man's money, helped him load up. So great movie. I encourage you to check it out. So we're going to go through a few comments. Dan and the Lion's Den says cannot find 223 or 5.56, but he's very glad he bought an AK, and he's been able to stock lots of 7.62. And I've always been interested in AKs. If you have experience with AKs, what brand do you recommend? Which brands should I avoid? And any other tips and tricks in regards to AKs? I'd love to get one in the future. Shaver Local YouTuber says or recommends to learn to reload. Says that he can reload 50 rounds of 45 ACP for $8.50. That's a pretty good price. I've always been interested in reloading, especially in my high-powered rifle cartridges, more so for hunting, say 270 and 30-06 and larger. I think that's where my personal interest has been in reloading. But that's interesting. Comment down below on what experiences you have with reloading. We'd love to hear details about that. Where do you get your supplies, for example? Michael BU 1660 mentions in regards to our conversation on Trump trying to postpone the election. And it is true, Trump alone does not have the power to do that. That's the great thing about the United States of America, is that the government, all aspects and branches of it, must work together to get anything important done. So if we really were going to postpone the elections, The entire Congress, House of Representatives, and the Senate, as well as the President and the Supreme Court, all would need to work together, all be on the same board with the same plan to move such a thing forward. Trump alone does not have such power to do something like that. The entire government, all branches and aspects of it, would have to work together with a common goal to get something like that done. So just know that. Is it going to happen? Can it happen? Yes, absolutely. Chances of it happening? Very slim to none. And Raydon, another YouTuber, comments on selling used guns. If you have guns you want to sell, great time to do it. You will get top dollar for them, no question about it. My advice to you on selling used guns: I would not sell guns registered in your name. If you have used guns that you have bought that are not registered in your name, you have bill of sales that you can track and maintain to keep yourself covered, by all means you can get top dollar for those. But again, firearms registered in your personal name, or perhaps loved ones in your family registered in their names, I would not recommend selling them. But if you have purchased, again, if you have purchased a used gun, it's not registered in your name or people you love and care about's names, by all means you can certainly sell for top dollar. In regards to purchasing used guns, can you find them right now? I'm sure you can. You may have to pay top dollar. I would say that if you could find especially used firearms that could be potentially banned in the future, that are still of course legal in your area, I would certainly look into that. There is going to be a second stimulus check. We're going to close out this video, this update, on this note. There will be a second stimulus check, no question about it. I think on a low end it'll be at least $1,000. A little bit of thunder, big storm happening right now. So it'll be at least $1,000. I think Trump is wanting the second stimulus check to be a large one, larger than before. I think he's wanted to be $2,000 or $3,000 perhaps. But so that would be great. Let's hope for that. That would be excellent. But know that it's at least going to be $1,000. They're talking, you could potentially see that the beginning, or not the beginning, the middle or end of August as early. Just depends on how fast they can push it through, push a deal through. What should you do with it? I would highly recommend buying some firearms and ammunition if you can find them. It's a great investment. Just like gold and silver, you can always resell them in the future and get your money back if you have to. So know, in the meantime, they can defend you, they can feed you, and then you can get the majority, if not more, of your investment back if you have to sell them. So, great investment. Comment down below what is happening in your area specifically. Let us know. Let the community know. If you'd like to support the channel, please subscribe. Tap the thumbs up icon, the bell icon, and you can also Cash App or PayPal. Thank you for watching this update.